Today we're going to celebrate Mother's Day 2024 with some wines. I'm Jason.
And I'm Trent, and we're here on an unfiltered, unapologetically unprofessional wine journey. What we're saying here, Jace?
Our saying is drink more, try more, learn more. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So before we get into Mother's Day, thoughts of the week.
Well, tied into Mother's Day is, when I think about our wives and also our mums as well, I kind of refer back to what Cyndi Lauper says about girls just want to have fun. And when I think about girls having fun or women having fun, I think about cocktails.
Right, yep.
And we're a wine show, so I thought, why don't we try some wine cocktails?
Sounds good.
Have you tried any before? Like, what comes to mind when I say wine cocktails?
Oh, I have to admit, I don't think I've had a wine cocktail before. Usually it's spirits with, tequila or vodka. Never wine.
Yeah, was it the ABC, was it?
The ABC or the Bacardi 151s? Very dangerous ones, yes.
There probably is one that you had before, which is sangria, right? Which is
oh, right. Yeah, obvious. Yeah,
obvious.
Really obvious.
But I thought we'd try something different today. I've got two cocktails I'm going to make live on show in front of you.
Wow.
One being a white, one being a red wine-based cocktail. The first one's called a wine spritzer, okay? So the wine spritzer is really simple.
Yep.
Any white wine, bit of soda water, mint, and a bit of a squeeze of lemon, and that's it.
Even I could do that. Really basic.
Exactly.
Wow.
So anyone can do this at home. So because I know how much you love cocktails so much, I'm just going to let you drink these cocktails, and then you can let me know
All right.
if they're any.
Yeah, great idea. Get me drunk.
any good. So I thought we put some Sauvignon Blanc in there, bit of soda water.
Yeah. Look at that fizz.
Bit of mint. Crush it a bit so it gets a bit of flavor in there. Look at that.
It does already give me cocktail vibes. Gives me mojito vibes.
And then look at this.
Wow. And the seeds exploding everywhere. I like it.
There we go.
Is that it?
There we go. Now try that.
Looks
and
really
let me know,
good.
Let me know how that goes.
Okay.
Corkscrew out of 10.
Maybe that's my reaction. You know what?
What?
I think there's not enough wine coming through, and maybe it's the ratios, but I do just get a whole heap of the soda water and the mint.
Which is maybe a good thing. You don't taste the wine. It's just like a fizzy tropical drink, right?
Is that how it's meant to be? Have you had this before?
I've never had these before.
Okay, I guess I feel like it's healthier and I'm hydrating at the same
Does
time.
it feel like summer?
It does feel like summer. In terms of a cocktail, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Purely because I feel like I'm having sparkling water with some mint.
Yeah, I thought the Sauvignon Blanc would do well because it has that kind of hint of, grassy herbiness, passion fruit, tropical. So I thought
I think it's more the proportions. Maybe a bit more and it would be balanced out.
Okay, done.
Thank you.
Lesson learnt next time.
Yeah.
So that
give Jason more alcohol. Great.
Next level. Next one's called the Bishop Cocktail. So what it says is do a dash of rum, and Jason has this Bacardi rum, not the 151, but the Bacardi Superior.
Just the regular.
Just the regular. So dash of rum.
I don't think I'm going to last this episode with all of this alcohol.
A dash of red wine.
Rum and red wine. Okay.
Okay. A teaspoon of simple syrup, which is basically sugar and water.
Mm-hmm.
And a twist of lime juice.
Right. All right. Thank you.
Cocktail number 2.
Cocktail number 2. What's it called? The Bishop.
Bishop Cocktail. How's that?
I prefer that one better. I think it's got a better balance. I can taste the red wine, but also the sweetness, kind of that syrup's coming through. And actually the rum, I can tell it's there because of a lot of the heat and you can smell it, but it's not too overpowering. That's pretty good. I'd give that an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Wow, well done.
Awesome.
I think I could have one more of those and then I'll be knocked out for the rest of the day.
Sounds good. So if there's any other kind of wine cocktails that you want to recommend onto us that we should be trying, let us know and we'll might try it on the podcast.
And the next time I'll reverse the roles and I'll get Trent drunk on this one. Thank you. So thoughts of the week on my side. I was out with the family, and a brother-in-law. I usually talk about one brother-in-law.
Yeah.
There's another brother-in-law that
wow.
joined the family.
Okay.
And
Congrats.
we were having some wine. Congrats.
Is he better than the other brother-in-law?
They're equally good.
Equally good.
Love the family. Love the family. But we were having some wine, and I was having a Riesling. I was having the Grosset that we picked up.
Yeah.
And we also tried in Clare Valley.
The Springvale, yeah?
Springvale one. Yeah. And I was just explaining to him how special the Rieslings were.
Yeah.
And he was asking why, and I was talking about the temperature difference that gives it the balance between both
diurnal temperature differences.
That's right, the acidity and the ripeness of the fruit. And I specifically chose not to say diurnal temperature difference because I don't want to be seen as the wine snob, right? Yeah. And I was explaining this to him, and he said, "Mate, if you could say that to me without being such a wanky, snobby person, then it'd be all right." And I thought, hold on, I didn't even say diurnal temperature difference.
Yeah.
And it just made me think it's really hard to talk about wine and not be considered a wine snob.
You mean it's really hard not to be a wanker, is it?
Correct. If you're enjoying your wine and explaining it, I don't know if you find that. Do you find that when you talk about wine, people just give you this look like, oh, who's this person?
Yes and no. I think depends on the audience.
Yeah.
You know, if they're receptive towards it and they actually want to learn a bit more, then So you just have to adjust.
Depends on the audience. And I guess the way I was thinking about it is I'd say the majority of people aren't trying to get into their wine and so forth. They're just enjoying having a good drink. But he did say that why don't you just do an episode where you say this is what the wine snob would say and you translate it. So I'm going to try that for this thought of the week and see how we go. So a new thought of the week, and I'm going to call it, what the hell was that wine snob talking about?
Yeah. And
I'm going to choose a term and try and explain what that is just in regular speak and see if it works. So the term I've chosen is dusty tannins. Okay. And dusty tannins, I got to admit, before doing the podcast, I hadn't heard it, but it's something that I hear quite often. And something that you say.
Hey, mate, what's dusty tannins?
That's right. And tell me, what is dusty tannins to you?
Oh, no, is it eating dust?
It could be. Is that how you'd explain it? Just regular speak?
I'm the regular person. You're going to explain it to me.
So let me tell you what people say first. Wine Spectator says it has a texture that gives some density. Whether or not that provides a good backdrop for fruit or flavors, or if it's a drying note, that depends on the rest of the description. So it's just some density in your mouth, right? And I think that was a very long sentence.
What does density mean, though?
Exactly. So you gotta imagine and visualize what you're having. And I think if I'm at the pub and I want to say dusty tannins, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say this wine tastes like I had some talcum powder in my mouth. Right? And you can visualize. Everyone knows what talcum powder is. Do you?
I don't use it.
You've never used, but you know what it is, right? It's
when I was like 5
powder.
years old or something, yeah.
Correct. You know what it is. So you can tell what that flavor is. I think everyone should be able to relate to that.
Yeah, or some other white powder.
Or some other white powder, which one I'm going to talk about on this episode. But if you say that, it feels like there's a bit of talcum powder in there, then maybe people could relate. What do you think? How else could you describe it?
Dusty tannins, I don't know, chalky, like chalk.
Yeah.
Maybe people don't know what chalk is now these days as well. They also talk about, it's not gravelly, but kind of, yeah, it's a texture.
Yeah. It's a texture
rather than a density is what I would say.
Which is why I think this is part of the barrier, like the language that's being used. Chalky is a common term that's being used as well. Yeah. How do we translate that to everyone else and not make it seem so snobby? Let us know in the comments below if you've got a better way to describe dusty tannins. And also if there's another term that you want to give us a crack on trying to explain it just in regular speak and not trying to be a wine snob.
Did you ask AI?
I didn't. I did ask AI, and they gave a wanky definition, Chat GPT. But
oh no,
I guess that's because there's too much wanky terminology out there on the websites. Let's see. But that was my thought of the week.
Okay, awesome. On to today's episode. Obviously, I had the tie with girls just want to have fun, and now onto what's coming up is Mother's Day. Yeah. Okay, and when I think Mother's Day, we often get that spa massage. But I thought for this episode, we'll try and get that special bottle of wine as well. So I think for both of us, our mums don't really drink that much. So I guess what we're trying to look for is a wine that our wives would like.
Correct. Yep.
And I think it's important, because we don't often appreciate our mums or our wives enough, for all the support, love, and care and sacrifice as well that they care, not just for this podcast, but also everything else in our lives.
Correct.
But, we thought we'll try some wines that we thought our wives will like, but also I want to ask some questions as well. Also, it's not always about the wine, also get to know about your wife and also your mum as well and get to know us.
Yes.
Because that somehow shapes us, I think.
Yeah. And I'll say it myself. There's no question that can't be asked about my wife. But if she gives me a look like I can't answer it, then I'm not going to say anything. So just know.
Okay. So I'm going to ask the first one to you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's similar to when I talk about wines and celebrities, the Shiraz and Russell Crowe. So what wine would represent your wife?
Yeah, what wine would represent my wife? Look, my wife is fairly easygoing, just wants to have a good time, nothing overly complicated.
Yeah.
And actually two wines come to mind. One is a Sauv Blanc.
Yeah.
And when we started dating, it was a wine that she'd typically have. And the other would be a Moscato. Both of those, I think, lively, fun.
Bright, bubbly. Oh, okay, yeah. Sounds good.
What about you?
I went the opposite, and I said it's probably representative of both my mum and also my wife as well. And I said a Shiraz.
Okay, talk through that.
Because I think for both of them, they're quite bold, strong-willed, determined.
Yep.
And I feel that's that strength in the Shiraz that kind of comes through for both my mum and also my wife.
I've met both of them. That's a good way to describe that. Yeah, actually, quite independent.
Yeah. The other one, next question.
Yep.
I'm just going to keep on firing these at you.
I like how you did this after giving me some spirits, so it's loosened me up. Yeah, thanks for that.
Three words to describe your mum or your wife. You can pick. You can pick either.
If I choose my wife, I'd say loving. She does so much for us and the family, and it's all just pure love. Sacrifice. She sacrifices so much for us. Time, does whatever it is that the kids need, does whatever it is that I need. And the other one is sexy beast.
That's 2 words.
Oh, okay. Can we hyphenate? Sexy beast, because obviously very attracted to her.
And she looks like a beast as well.
Sexy beast. You forgot the first part. Don't take that out. What about you? Do you have 3 terms?
You can also be honest as well. Just because they're watching you say these things, you also can be honest.
I'm not making any eye contact right now because I don't know what the reaction is.
Okay, so obviously I come prepared. So for my mum, sorry, is selfless, devoted, and determined. For my wife, it was supportive, determined, and strong-willed.
Yes.
So it kind of touches on what I said before.
Still relates to Shiraz.
Shiraz, yeah. Any other things on your side, or I'm going to just keep on firing these through?
I'll keep firing through and then I'll come up with something.
Is there a fond memory of your mum that has shaped you?
Fond memory of my mum. Oh gosh. My mum she's a very confident person, and I think she kind of helped me grow up with a bit of self-confidence myself. The memory I have is we'd always attend some gathering, whether that be family friends or just social friends, and she would talk about how great her kids are non-stop. Like
proud.
Super proud, but inside I'm cringing. I'm like, why are you talking about this non-stop? They're the smartest, they're the best looking, they're so athletic. None of those true.
Is that Asian competitiveness in the way you go, oh, my son's better than yours? Or
I don't know, because I never heard any of that. I'm saying it. But I remember that distinctly, and then thinking about it later on, I realized, you know what, she is proud.
Yeah.
But it's also helped giving me some confidence because she's talked about it like we're the greatest people on earth, which isn't true.
Yeah.
But it's helped boost the confidence, and it's kind of made me think about how I'm raising my kids.
Yeah.
And kind of trying to reinforce and reinstill and praise them.
Yeah.
Where reasonable. To help build the confidence.
Yeah.
Memories on your side?
I think my memory is my parents ran a small business. And I know, and she knows, probably my dad knows as well, is that it wouldn't have been successful without my mum. My mum was truly the brains behind the business. My dad's probably technical and customer focused, whereas my mum is, take no shit go in there, very determined, get stuff done. And sometimes it might rub things the wrong way, which I think my wife's also been on the end of as well. But she just goes in there unapologetically, just goes and gets the job done. And I think she's also been like that in terms of how she's also brought my brother and I up as well.
Yep.
In the sense that, you know, she's determined, selfless, does everything for the kids. Like if people say no, we shouldn't put them in certain schools, she said, no, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Because I want the best for my kids. And that's my memory.
She'll carve her path.
Correct.
Not follow others. Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah.
Favorite dish that your mum cooks for you?
Oh, favorite dish that my mum cooks for me. Yeah, that's good. Because if you ask my wife, then I've got such a selection there. She's such a good cook. And did I also say she's a sexy beast as well? Yes. Favorite dish, and this is my favorite dish in general. It's corned beef. It's meat from a can, stewed up with some potatoes, onions, garlic, served on a bed of rice. And any time that she makes that, it just reminds me of home. It was my favorite dish. Yeah. What about you?
That's awesome. Something so simple, but also ties in with your memory so strongly. For me, it wasn't any specific dish, actually. It was just, my wife, again, has seen this before. Like she runs a small business, comes back late. Within 30 minutes, you get 3 dishes there with a soup as well, somehow magically done through the kitchen. Just that way that she can just kind of just knock something together from anything in the fridge without thinking. That's what's kind of amazed me.
Your mum's talented. I like it.
She is very talented. So last one. If your mum is now listening to the podcast today, what would you say to your mum?
I would say, Mum, thank you so much for raising us, giving us the confidence and skills. What are you laughing for?
Go.
Giving us the confidence and skills to live life. I think you've raised us with really good values, and I've picked up a lot from you and from Dad. But this is a Mother's Day, so we're going to talk about you. And I hope you have a very special Mother's Day. What about you?
Similarly, I'll say that I don't think we say it enough. And actually, I don't say it much at all. In terms of saying, that I do appreciate everything that you've done for me and that I do love you so much. And, just in reflection, as you grow older, you just see how much selflessness has been put into making the people that we are as well. So, Mum, I love you.
Oh, that's nice. I like it. I love you too, Mum, by the way. If I didn't say that, making me look bad.
Okay. The wine I picked today is a Massolino Moscato d'Asti 2021 from Serralunga de Alba. That's the area. The reason why I picked this one is that we lived in London for a while, and through food, and then in turn wine as well. We did a bit of travel through northwest Italy, the Piedmont area, and one of the major cities there is Asti. That's famous for truffles, but also famous for Moscato d'Asti. It's very different in terms of the Moscatos there compared to the Moscatos that we get here in Australia. So I tried to find a good one, and the Massolino Moscato d'Asti is meant to be a benchmark in terms of style. It's tiny quantities that's created, hand-harvested grapes from the Muscat grape varietal from the Asti region. So I thought we'll try something special today and see whether she likes it.
Right. So this is linking back to that last question, the memories of you both traveling through that area.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. All right. So the thing I noticed straight away, and I don't know if this can be seen on the camera, but the Moscato in this instance is quite yellow. It's got that really straw color, and I got to say, most of the Moscatos I've had isn't that intense in terms of color. So it really stands out, as well as the bubbles that are going through it. You've had a taste and smell. What are you getting?
What I'm picking up is Muscat grapes. Like Muscat jellies that you normally get. Those kind of Japanese jellies definitely come through, but it has a kind of crispiness to it as well, but that minerality and also a bit of herby notes coming through. So it's not just fully just sweet, but as it kind of then settles down, you get these different layers of bit of sage kind of come through.
Yep.
And with the sweet as well. It is probably more on the sweet side, but I think it's just those Muscat grapes kind of come through. It's very different and does make you think as well.
Yeah, I think the smell is quite different too. Normally, if I think about Moscato, that would typically get just the regular ones you pick up from any bottle shop. It's just super sweet, sugary sweet, and that's about it. It's pretty one-dimensional. This right now, even I've had it like a minute ago. It's still coating my teeth and my mouth, so there's kind of a bit more body to it, and the sweetness is. I'm kind of getting like a Turkish delight, kind of a rosewater kind of sweetness to it.
Yeah, you get
which really
flowers,
stands out. Yes, there's definitely a floral lift.
The white flowers.
But also the acidity, I think it balances out. So it's not as one-dimensional as all of the other Moscatos that you typically get from a bottle. That's really nice.
It feels like it's a really good one to have like with a bit of kind of tea cake or something like that.
Yeah.
That kind of like balance out that kind of sweetness, herbiness, like a lemon tea cake. Be really nice.
Oh. I think we said it on another episode, like a poppy seed or something like that. That would be delicious. I really like that, particularly because in comparison to the other Moscatos, it's just so bland and just sweet. Corkscrew ratings?
Corkscrews, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd agree. I was tossing between a 7 or 8, but this is special. So I agree. 8 out of 10. Great choice.
What did you go for, Jace?
So I went for, and I gotta say, these German Rieslings are hard to pronounce. So let me show it on screen. It's a Spatlese.
Can you say this whole name?
But let me try and say the whole name because I'm really good at German. Wingert Max Ferd Richter, and it's a Braunburger Jaffa Sonnenuhr, right? Riesling Spatlese. Is that how you would pronounce it?
No, yeah, you've got to think German, and when you think German, everything's very abrupt.
Yeah,
so I kind of think that's like Weingart Max Ferd Richter, Braunburger Jaffa Sonnenuhr.
It sounds really angry.
Is it? It does
sound the way it's.
Would the Germans sound angry? You tell us.
That's what I was going to say. It's hard to pronounce, so it's a German Riesling, is what I'm going to say. Yeah. And we picked this up from Prince Wine Store, $90.
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
And so the story behind this, like I was saying earlier, my wife and I, when I met her, typically Sauv Blanc was the white that we'd have, a whole heap of that. And then we did the German Riesling episode on this podcast, which was the JJ Prum episode, right? And she loved it. She loved the Riesling that was coming out of there. Loved the sweetness of it all, but also the balance with the acidity. So I thought she might enjoy trying a similar Spatlese Riesling. And you've given it a try. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so get that lemon hit, but again, it has that kind of wet rock kind of saline feel to it as well, with a hint of that kind of Kero that comes through.
I'm so happy you said that.
And it's very, it's medium sweet. It's very perfumed as well. Kind of again, white flowers kind of come through. But I just said, it also has this kind of mouth puckering kind of acidity that kind of balances off the sweetness as well, and it has this kind of freshness to it as well.
Yeah, that's delicious. I agree with what you were saying. All there, and I'm salivating.
And when I say freshness, it's like that kind of, when you drink it in initially, it's like that kind of minty freshness. It goes and kind of like breathes through with the sweetness as well.
Because we've been having quite a few Rieslings, and Riesling since doing the podcast is something that I've been having a lot of. Clare Valley Riesling, we were talking about it earlier. This is a bit different in terms of the body of it. It's actually a bit more viscous. It's not like, it's not really thick, but you can tell that the body's there. But also the kerosene scent, which is interesting, stands out, and it's kind of like this musty scent. But you could see, because this is a 2020, I could see if this goes a bit longer, that kerosene scent would come out a bit more.
I like the length on this one as well. Kind of just sits there.
Yeah.
Then has that kind of, Kero, but minty type of freshness as well. That kind of It builds on you.
Correct. Yeah. And a sweetness element to it. Still, like, I don't know if it's like a melon or some kind of pear combined with that acidity. I think is really good. So the length of this is amazing. Everything really well balanced in comparison to the JJ Prum. I'm thinking you've probably had a bit more of that. Can you pick any differences?
I think definitely with the JJ Prums are definitely a lot more aged. It was like 2009.
Yeah.
Right, and it comes more golden and richer. With age, or it's a bit more fresher. But I think this is really nicely made. Do you think it's almost representative of your wife as a wine as well? Has that kind of
sexy beast? Is that
that freshness, that sweetness, but that kind of touch of fire around the Kero as well that can come through?
Touch of fire with the Kero. I don't know if we're trying to stretch it there, but I feel like I want to agree with you just because it sounded good, mate. I think my wife would love this. I think she'd love the sweetness. I think she'd love the balance with the acidity. I'm really looking forward to tasting, for her to taste it. Corkscrews.
You go.
9 out of 10 for me. I think this was really, really delicious, and I love the different complexity and the finish to it. What about you?
8 out of 10 for me. I think they're both good, but they're good in different ways. I do love that Riesling as well. That balance is gorgeous.
So that was great. So let us know in the comments below what wines you're using to celebrate Mother's Day, and what wines celebrate your wife or your mum best. Any last thoughts before we wind it up?
No, I think just celebrate, your wives, your mums, the women around us as well. And let us know, what wines are you going to pick?
Thanks, Mum. Thanks to our wives. Thanks for all the support. We hope you have a great Mother's Day. As we like to say here, drink more, try more, learn more. Thanks all. Bye.